as we know, it is actually the 4th of July tomorrow, July 4th, 2013. It is one of those times that is actually the most popular time of all for people to choose to cook out. This is Lolly with a few summertime tips about what you will be needing for your next barbecue or cookout. For the perfect barbecue fest, you definitely want to make sure that you are not the host that looks like she kind of just phoned it or he just phoned it in. You want to look like somebody who is completely on top of your game. You know exactly everything that it takes to do a barbecue that is absolutely phenomenal, memorable, and out of this world. So what is it that you definitely need to have, or the basic must-haves for any barbecue outside of the utensils, cooking towels, forks, barbecue mops, etc., and utensils, of course? You better make sure that you have steaks, and more steaks, and the fresher the better. And don't skimp here. Make sure that you get the best cut of beef for your buck. Because basically, when the beef is cheap, everybody knows that you skimped. And you don't want to have that kind of reputation. Now, if you want to steer clear of that, because let's face it, the prices at the supermarket, not very competitive right now. It's getting pretty expensive to eat. Therefore, you might want to check out a less expensive option like, hey, chicken, brisket's a good choice. A nice cut of pork, maybe some spare ribs, short ribs, or even just like the baby backs. You can do that and stretch your dollar. Maybe chops if you like pork, but you don't really want to do the whole roast thing. Maybe you don't have an actual smoker. Therefore, you might want to go with pork chops. It's a nice follow-up. I mean, it's definitely a good substitution. A lot of people do enjoy those. And let's not forget chicken. Chicken is always kind of like a no-brainer. You can get a ton of legs, wings, thighs, breasts. Throw those things on the grill or throw them in the smoker, and next thing you know, presto, you've got a fabulous, fabulous spread for your guest. Now, maybe you're vegan. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't even like, hey, let's get some shiitakes going. Shiitakes, definitely a basics for anyone who considers themselves to be a vegetarian, or even just someone who's trying to cut back on consumption of meats. So you want to keep that on hand. You also might want to get some tofu. Smoked tofu is probably the best choice, but you also might want to think about getting some, perhaps, and not if not the smoked tofu, get just the basic veggie burgers. Maybe you have some people that maybe they don't like the red meats, but they are not too opposed to other forms of meat. So let's look at the fish. Fish is always a fabulous option for the grill. I mean, it's lower cal option, and certainly is completely delicious. So you might want to get a few salmon steaks, maybe just some rainbow trout. They do really well on the grill. Now, what about the kitties? Let's face it, sometimes they just want a plain basic dog, but I recommend highly either Hebrew Nationals or the new Angus by Oscar Mayer. I can't recommend those specifically because I've actually never tried them. I've always been a Hebrew National kind of girl, but if you want to try out the Angus, I mean, Angus is the top of the line beef, so I'm thinking if the hot dogs are anything like the steaks, and I have had those, it's a great option. So you may want to go that route. What else do you want to have there? Hey, for the basics, you just make sure you have the best of everything and plenty of it. Bacon, for those people who definitely like to do a bacon burger. You want to make sure you have ground turkey or ground beef. Ground chuck is preferable if you're trying to watch the fat. Definitely a leaner choice of meat. And of course, for those who don't like the beef period, ground turkey is sensational. So you want to have plenty of that on hand as well for those burger lovers. And of course, all the fixed things. You don't want to forget that. So if you're not going to go with your heavy duty smoking, say you're not going to go with the ribs or any of that, you just want to stick with just kind of simplicity. Sometimes simplicity is best. I definitely agree. So you might just want to do dogs and burgers and skip all the chicken and the pork and all that. You may not even want to go for the shrimp kebabs. I mean, you can get into a whole lot of territory when you're having a barbecue. Let's be honest. There's a lot of choices out there, but sometimes you just want to keep it simple. That's perfectly acceptable. You can go ahead with that. Make sure you have your graham crackers, your Marshies, and your chocolate bars on hand, because s'mores, to be honest, is kind of like indispensable. It's expected. You definitely want to have plenty of those on hand because people pretty much like that as a dessert. And of course, you want to have your basic ice cream. You might even want to do a sundae bar. That's kind of a fun activity for the kids as well. It's also a lot easier. Or fruit salad. Fresh fruit salad is always going to be a scene stealer. First of all, it's gorgeous. I mean, you have a bunch of different colored fruits like your cantaloupe and your honeydew melon and your pineapple all congregating together, and it just looks fabulous. So definitely a choice there as well. What else? Don't forget the buns. If you're doing just the burgers and the dogs, you want to make sure you have plenty of hot dog burger buns and also Kaiser rolls. For those who don't like the actual, just the basic hamburger roll, I particularly don't care for them as much. I prefer like the Kaiser or like the specialty sandwich breads are also pretty lovely as well. There are also people who may even like it on a Cuban or Cuban roll, or baguette, which is actually quite tasty and elegant at the same time. Don't forget the cheese. You definitely want to make sure that you have your Colby, your Gouda, your Swiss, whatever it is that you feel will be most acceptable for your crowd of hungry comers. If you have people that are coming to eat, make sure that you have what they like to eat. That's the most important thing when you're throwing any kind of shindig, barbecue, cookout, it's no different. Let's not forget the lettuce. You definitely want to make sure that you have lettuce, and whether that's your arugula, romaine iceberg, you get the picture. Make sure you have plenty of that as well. Most people don't like a naked burger. There are some that do, but you want to make sure you have something to please all of those hungry people because they're going to be looking to eat, and they're going to be looking at you if you don't have what they like. So that's not too cool. So you want to avoid that if possible. What else do you like for barbecue? What else is essential? Absolutely tomatoes, peppers. If you are somebody who likes to kind of spice it up and you like to take it a little bit more, let's just say a little more international. You may want to get some avocado and some mangoes, do some salsa or some guacamole. Doesn't hurt to try something new and different. And peppers, you may want to make sure you get several different types, like the yellow, red for those who like the sweet, and of course the basic green. Onions, onions, onions. Need I say more? Vidalia, red are best for burgers and salad and just pretty much any type of raw consumption. You may want to grill them though, so you definitely can consider, of course, your white and your yellow. What else? Slaw. Slaw. I mean, slaw is absolutely a winner in potato salad. Don't forget it. If you have some cabbage, you can always make your own from scratch. It's nothing like homemade coleslaw. And don't forget all the seasonings. Salt, black pepper, red pepper, the marinades, most definitely mustard and ketchup. And of course, you can have a different varieties of mustard because you have your deli, you have your honey, you have your Grey Poupon. I mean, you can really get into specialties when it comes to mustard. And you may want to even have dry. You want to have a variety. That's just the most important thing when you're having this kind of shindig. People want to see, they want to have a choice. They want to feel like there's just this one thing. Ketchup, that goes without saying. You definitely want to have that, and possibly horseradish. There are people that do like to have that on their burgers kind of time. And let's not forget the garlic, granulated as well as fresh. Definitely something that will mix things up a bit. And last but not least, you want to have those barbecue sauces. If you are going to go all out and you're going to do all the meat and the ribs and all, you definitely want to have assorted barbecue sauces or make your own. If you are that kind of gourmet and a chef and you know how to mix it up like that, knock yourself out. A lot of people are known for the barbecue sauces. They wouldn't touch anything in a bottle. And if that's who you are, go for it. Definitely. Because I'm sure people are expecting it because you're probably known throughout the family and your circle of friends for having that kind of recipe and that kind of prowess on the grill. Just to end things, just make sure that you have a lot of great music blasting and blaring. Nobody wants to go to a party and be bored to death. Let's just get that straight. If you have your own private home, this is perfectly acceptable. You do want to keep in mind that you do have neighbors just in case somebody may not be feeling well or they have young children or, newborns. You just want to keep it to a decent decibel, but of course you want to have the hits that people remember so everybody can get on the floor. Just have a really great time. Don't forget the board games. For now, I am going to get out of here because I have a lot of other things to get into, but I hope that's going to help you out. And just don't forget, make sure you have plenty of plates, napkins, utensils, and a lot of foil because some people might want to take something home. Have a great time and a happy 4th. And thank you for listening. Take care.